Hi everyone. Ever wondered how your favorite Starbucks or Costa drink is priced differently for the different consumers? Even though essentially it's the same coffee. And that is exactly what we are going to learn today. We are going to learn about the magic of price discrimination and impact of this method on producers, on consumers, and on overall market efficiency. So let's get started. Let me just put my cup away. Let's start with a simple definition. What is price discrimination? Now, price discrimination means the business is not offering you something unique than what they do. They are, however, charging you different prices for essentially that same product. So they are going to divide the consumers in different segments, in different groups. They understand the conditions that work for each group, and based on that, they will maximize their revenues. So, as the definition says, price discrimination is when a firm charges different prices to different groups of consumer. So remember, the goods are not changing, the services are not changing. And that also makes us understand that why the marginal cost of production is constant. That is because the concept of price discrimination is about discriminating based on the price, different prices for different set of consumers. It is not about their production cost changing in the market. So today's lesson, today's video is more about third degree price discrimination, where we want to understand that what conditions would be important for a business to try and gain from price discrimination. So let's go through those conditions one by one. One of the most important condition, I believe, would be that the businesses, in order to apply this concept to the market that they cater to, they should be dominant in the market. Therefore, we are talking about the businesses very similar to a monopoly market structure. They have that dominance in the market, they have that ability to differentiate prices for the same product. So different set of the consumers, same product but different prices. So yes, monopoly power will be very important here. We also want to understand that the businesses, they need to have a good knowledge of their market. Therefore, that market segmentation will be so effective for them to gain from price discrimination. They should be very clear about the segments that they can apply price discrimination to. What else can we think about? Also, they will create the conditions where it will not be possible for us as consumers to resell that product or that service. What example can I think about? So let's say if I want to watch a movie and if I go to a theater to watch a movie, I cannot buy a ticket that is meant for kids. So I have to buy that adult ticket. So therefore, any sort of reselling would not be possible in order to make that price discrimination effective from the business's perspective. Last but not the least, because we are going to learn about third degree price discrimination, price elasticity of demand. They understand the willingness of the consumers, they understand how important elasticity of demand is for them to maximize their revenues. Based on that, they are going to divide the market into two segments. So now let's try to apply our learning to the diagrams. So if you have a look here, we have two different graphs. The first graph is showing us a market with inelastic demand, PED less than 1. Another market is showing us the market of price sensitive consumers. In this case, price elasticity of demand is greater than 1. Now, remember, the businesses are profit maximizer. Therefore, the quantity that they are going to sell in the market will be where MR intersects with MC. And based on that, we know the quantity. Where do we get our price from? Remember, price will always be from our AR curve. So we can see that in case of an elastic set of consumers, the prices are way higher than if I want to compare the market which is including elastic set of consumers or price sensitive consumers. However, in both cases, I think for a business, it's a win-win situation. Why? They are still making supernormal profits. So therefore, they are extracting consumer surplus from an elastic segment, and they are also extracting consumer surplus, changing it into producer surplus from that elastic segment of consumers. So yes, definitely be very confident in saying that how that is going to benefit the businesses in terms of our understanding about price discrimination. We know the meaning, we know the conditions, we know how third degree price discrimination uses elasticity of demand, and we applied everything to this graph. Now, how will we be critical about the concept of price discrimination? I have created some checkpoints here. These will be quite useful for you when you will be writing your, or you will be revising, thinking about your however points. So we need to talk about the economic agents. Remember, be it microeconomics or be it macroeconomics, it is about the economic agents. So it will be definitely about the consumers. Then we can further evaluate that, okay, what kind of consumers are we talking about? In this case, you can bring in your understanding about price sensitive and price insensitive, or consumers with low price elasticity of demand. You can also talk about that, are they lower income group or are we talking about higher income group? Another economic agent, the one who is a clear winner in this case, businesses. We are thinking about the producers, and now I would not always say that price discrimination is wrong. You always can question the context. How are those profits being used? That can make your evaluation a star. So let's have a look. So we'll start from the points that what are the benefits of price discrimination overall from the market's perspective. So we can see from the diagrams, they are making supernormal profits that will contribute towards that increased revenues. Overall, in the long run, the businesses will be able to research, they will be able to invest in development projects that possibly would provide innovative, better quality, better variety products to the consumers. So overall, economic theory says it leads to, or potentially it may lead to, increased market efficiency. That is one. Point number two, we can think about the concept of cross subsidy. That means the businesses, they will charge full price to some set of consumers, and the revenues that they gain from those consumers, they use it to discount that important good or service for a certain group of consumers. What example can I think about? We can think about the senior citizen travel cards, for example. Last but not the least, we talk about that how important it is to maximum utilization of resources, how important it is for the businesses to not waste their resources and to be productively efficient. So we are also assuming that when a business is able to sell across different set of markets, they are making good use of their spare capacity. So that was all about that how price discrimination is not so bad. Let's look at the realistic scenario. Let's look at how it is not always going to be good. Some consumers are definitely worse off. So let's get started. So the first thing, and that is very clear from these two graphs, in both cases they are making supernormal profits. Therefore, they are extracting consumer surplus and maximizing their profits because their producer surplus is coming at the cost of consumer welfare. Price discrimination also goes on to show that how some businesses are dominating the market, are controlling the market, which is not a good news from the perspective of contestability. In the long run, as a consumer, we might not really have choices that can impact the value we associate with consumer welfare. Last but not the least, even though we can have a look at this diagram of elasticity, we see that the prices are less than an elastic market segment. In both cases, prices are greater than marginal cost. Therefore, every segment is still paying prices which are higher than marginal cost. Therefore, no allocative efficiency whenever a monopolist or a business is going to use the method of price discrimination. So that was all about price discrimination. I hope this simplifies the concept for you. Have a nice day.